Sean Combs allegedly you with the TV remote. What happened after that in that bedroom with all of those people present?
They took turns me, and Sean Combs me. Shane Pierce also me, but and the bodyguard guy, he me as well while Sean Combs was sitting in a chair filming it and to watching me be.
Sean Combs was while you say the other members of his party were taking turns with you?
Yeah.
Along with Sean Combs, Diddy, and there's a few others. You know, there's I believe Druski.
Big homie CC.
Big homie CC's in the lawsuit, and can you explain what was that lawsuit?
And Odell Beckham Jr.
You ever been to one of Diddy parties?
Yeah, I've been in attendance. Not hey, what the you smirking for?
You saying that?
I've been in attendance.
We just asked a regular question.
Jaguar Wright is back, and when Jaguar speaks, the industry shivers. She's not just ranting this time. She's unloading with the energy of a woman who's seen too much and is done playing nice. Jaguar has aimed her sights directly at comedian Druski. Once the lovable internet goofball, he's now being exposed as Diddy's main freak-off minion. Not just a party guest, but an active participant in Diddy's hidden world of power, drugs, and manipulation. The party lights may have been flashing, but what was really happening behind those closed mansion doors? Jaguar says it's darker than any of us imagined.
We should talk about this Diddy, Druski, Odell Beckham Jr. situation. Because a complaint that was filed by a woman by the name of Ashley Parham back in October has now been amended to include the last two's names. With a suit originally claiming Diddy overheard Ashley tell one of his friends that she believed Diddy was partially responsible for Tupac's. But then Diddy allegedly saying she would pay for that comment, and about a month after this incident, that same friend apparently invited Ashley to his home, only for Diddy to then show up with the suit claiming that he and others her. And the now amended version of the suit goes into incredibly explicit details about the alleged with page 6 saying they obtained a copy, and in this, Diddy allegedly instructed Druski to Ashley. But before doing so, it's alleged that he doused her with oil and jumped on her, treating it like a slip and slide and knocking the wind out of her. The suit also claiming that during the alleged she heard the defendants refer to someone else who allegedly her as Cornelius, and she has reportedly now learned that that was OBJ, with his full name being Odell Cornelius Beckham Jr. And this incident reportedly didn't stop after the alleged. Right, according to Variety, Ashley left the apartment carrying a knife that was used to threaten her earlier and then allegedly stabbed Diddy in the back with it, prompting gunshots to fire. She then fled the scene and allegedly ran into a man pretending to be law enforcement, but was really a Diddy associate. Multiple outlets also said that she reported the incident to the Contra Costa Sheriff's Department, but they gave a statement to USA Today saying the claims they investigated were unfounded, though they did not go into the nature of the report. The outlet also said that Ashley got her hit done at a hospital and reported the allegation to the Walnut Creek police during that, though she apparently did not name Diddy there, right? And so with all this, notably Diddy previously denied the claims against him, and now both Druski and OBJ are doing the same.
Back in 2018, a woman named Ashley Parham filed a lawsuit that barely made noise. Why? Probably because the names involved were so powerful they made sure the world never saw it. But guess what? That lawsuit is resurfacing, and this time, people are paying attention. Why? Because Jaguar Wright's recent expose lines up with every single detail. Ashley claims she was drugged, offered a drink laced with God knows what, and then used as bait at a so-called party hosted in Orinda, California. And now it's all starting to make sense. Amidst all the chaos and whisperings, videos of Druski chilling at Diddy's house have suddenly gone viral.
Druski and Odell Beckham Jr. had a problem. If you don't know who they are, Druski is a comedian, Odell Beckham Jr., football player. Anyway, they were both named in a court document along with Diddy. That's already bad, but well, it gets worse. In the court document, it says that both of them, along with Diddy, did terrible things to a woman at Diddy's house. Now, people are already saying Druski guilty because he seemed to be associated with Diddy in the past, shooting videos and all that. Odell Beckham Jr. also seen with Diddy in the past. And it's because of this when Diddy got arrested and the whole fiasco happened, while Druski was on several podcasts, they asked him, hey, have you been to a Diddy party? And in each podcast, Druski starts laughing. Ha 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 ha. They looking at him like, well. Then Druski tells him, but look, I haven't been to one of those Diddy parties. So again, people are saying, oh, Druski was nervous, definitely guilty. All right, now here's where it starts to get wicked. Some of the allegations in this court document are absolutely insane. Prepare yourself. For instance, one of the lines reads out in reference to Druski. Instead of immediately doing something terrible to the woman, Druski douses the woman with more oil, you know, Diddy and his baby oil, and then jumps on her oiled body, treating it like a slip and slide and knocking the wind out of the woman due to his enormous size, due to Druski's enormous size. Because of some of the wording, people claim that this document is fake. But from what I've researched, this document seemed like a legit document that was filed with the Northern District of California. And maybe, this is a complete guess, the lawyer worded it this way to put you in the situation. You know, Druski's a comedian, so maybe you could see Druski like pretend he's on the slip and slide, you know what I'm saying? Now, after Druski allegedly did his slip and slide thing, he allegedly then did something terrible to her while Diddy watched. Afterwards, Odell Beckham did the same. They leave. Now, after the situation, there ends up being a heated confrontation between Diddy, the woman, and some guy we're gonna call guy number one. Guy number one brings out a strap. A neighbor pokes his head in and says, "What's going on?" Guy number one points his ting at the neighbor and says, "Boy, you better step." Now, I say all this because it's important to note that there are allegedly witnesses. So if this really happened, then they can get some proof. Druski says, well, that's well and good, but that whole story happened in 2018. He says he was living in his mama's house, he was broke, and he had no connections to the entertainment industry. So basically, Druski saying never happened. Now, those pictures, those videos I showed you earlier when he was connected and associated with Diddy, 2021. Now, do what you want with that information, but regardless, Odell Beckham says the same thing. He says the whole thing is cap.
What y'all want to do? Can't do without this silk. For real, I don't even know how to put this on. Yeah. Ooh, this is delicious. Baller shot caller. Spread love, baby. Spread love. It's me. It's Puff. Don't mind if I do. I wouldn't, shot.
Owned by a black man.
Owned by a black man.
You way too comfortable though.
The real confirmation came crashing in when Jaguar Wright, the queen of calling out the industry's dirt, dropped a major bomb. Druski and Odell Beckham Jr. were both deeply involved. And guess what? Ashley Parham, the woman who filed the lawsuit, was telling the truth all along. Let that sink in. Ashley didn't just accuse random folks. She named powerful people. She described being drugged, used, manipulated, and thrown into a nightmare, just because she said one thing nobody's allowed to say out loud, that she believed Diddy had something to do with Tupac's death.
And ain't it funny? Both of us ended up in a lawsuit doing heinous stuff. Ain't it weird?
Yeah, no, let's get right to the lawsuit. You know, we see Jaguar Wright in the lawsuit along with Sean Combs, Diddy, and there's a few others. You know, there's I believe Druski,
Big homie CC.
Big homie CC's in the lawsuit, and can you explain what was that lawsuit?
And Odell Beckham Jr.
Odell, yes, let's not forget Odell Beckham Jr. as well. For the people that don't know, what was that lawsuit? Who was it? And the date that they even put on there was like a date you weren't even around to do that. So can you explain what was this lawsuit that they were saying happened to said individual, if you feel like speaking on it?
I'm going to give it respect, and then I'm going to keep it a buck. I'm going to keep it all the way a bean. The Ashley Parham lawsuit was important. Very important. Everything that she went through and everything that dirty cops allegedly allowed to be swept under the rug. What happened to her was terrible. But up until I won the Defender of Freedom Award, the only woman that anybody mentioned doing terrible things to, around, and with, and facilitating anything, any kind of harm to Ashley Parham is Christina Coram. KK. Fun girl. Miss Ivy Drip.
So why even throw your name in it? I mean, you've been speaking out a lot about all this. Is it more so that, hey, you could corroborate some of these stories, or why even put you in a lawsuit as if you were part of something that happened to Miss Parham?
To make me look bad. To make America's future feel bad for allowing me to be nominated and giving me an award. To make me look like a hypocrite. That's why. The question is, has anybody really paid attention to how sick that whole thing was and what they said I did? What they said I did. I was in Las Vegas. And I picked up a Jane Doe and a John Doe, mother and son, and forced them into a car where I was the passenger. And some woman that sued Michael Jackson after he died, lying ass up, was driving. I had all these envelopes filled with cash and I'm paying everybody off. And then we leave Vegas and allegedly we went to California. And then that's when I kicked into action, when we got there. Because I had to organize the whole thing. Right? And I said, allegedly, I said, Jane Doe, John Doe, mother and son that don't nobody know, ain't nobody seen or heard from. All of a sudden, I'm telling people, get the remote. This hoe gonna learn today. That's what they said. I said it a lot.
We didn't get a chance to read it all. What was Druski and
I told them that if they didn't, participate and watch and witness, that I was gonna make sure they got that remote control too.
What was Druski in Odell's part in this? What did they say?
I don't know. They said they all did. They jumped in. They got involved. They did. They said Big Homie CC did her first.
Now here's where things get really weird. Jaguar herself found out her own name was mentioned in the lawsuit. At first glance, everybody was shook. Like, was she involved? But hold on, she came out swinging, clearing the air fast. According to Jaguar, this was all part of a nasty setup by her ex-husband, who allegedly tried to ruin her reputation by tossing her into the mix. She says she was never there, had nothing to do with it, and she's not about to let that lie ride. So who was really behind it? Jaguar dropped another name that wasn't even on the public's radar before, Christina Carorms. Jaguar says Christina was the one doing all the dirty work in the background, the real lure behind the scenes.
Meanwhile, they have now added all of this to Ashley Parham's real case. And the reason why what happened to her is because she told Diddy that she knew he unalived Tupac. I want everybody to think that's where the story for her started. Why would all that need to happen to her if what she was saying wasn't true? They laugh off everything else. Why didn't you laugh off that? Right? They're unbothered people, right? They all looking real bothered right now. And now they've used one of the greatest advocates against all of this craziness to destroy a real victim's case. Because the truth is, it doesn't even matter what's in that lawsuit no more. Using me the way they used me There was no way in the world I could have done it. That's the thing. Whoever it was over there coming up with their little storylines, tuned up, no doubt, on that 2C. Whatever's left of it, I heard it's getting scarce in the marketplace.
Oh, wow. Well, Jag, speaking of the 2C.
I mean, really think about that.
Yeah.
They made this up. And it couldn't, that's how sloppy they are. They didn't even bother to fact check. March 23rd, 2018. I was waiting for them to give me my trial date that I demanded for a crime that I did not commit. That I was released and all charges were dismissed, nulle prosecute. So I was charged with a felony and the case was crap. So they had to drop it. I want y'all to think about what I'm telling you. March 23rd, 2018, I was in jail waiting for a trial to beat the rat for a charge I did not commit. And that was all set up by my first ex-husband, who was a Rock Nation loyalist.
Ashley came forward in the news recently, speaking her truth, and it lines up exactly with what Jaguar had been saying for years. Ashley didn't just repeat the same names. She named Christina Carorms, Big Homie Cece, Diddy's infamous bodyguard, and 2 more individuals, still not publicly identified, who were later found to be Druski and Odell, alongside disgraced music mogul Sean Diddy Combs.
Months after putting her name on a highly explicit, exhaustively detailed court filing, Ashley Parham has decided to go on national television and answer questions about it. She asked us if we could conceal her face, and we agreed. She also wanted to be joined by her attorney, Ariel Mitchell. Here's our conversation. Ashley and Ariel, thank you very much for doing this. I know this is extremely sensitive. I'll ask the questions best I can, and I'll challenge the best I can, understanding that this is delicate information. With that in mind, Ashley, can you tell me how you first even came into contact and came to know Sean Combs?
I met a man named Shane Pierce at the bar, and outside of the bar, he had Sean Combs on a FaceTime phone call, and he overheard me saying I wasn't impressed by him and wasn't a fan, and that I thought he killed Tupac. And
do you believe that that's what started all of this, that perhaps Sean Combs had a grudge, just hearing that you believed he was Tupac's killer?
Yeah, I think that's what started it, because that's when he threatened me, that he was gonna come after me. And he threatened he was gonna eat my face, so I didn't take him seriously. I just thought he was a bizarre human being.
At what point did you come into actual physical contact? Did you see him face to face for the first time? What were the circumstances?
It was when Shane Pierce had called me, and he claimed he wasn't feeling well from his cancer treatment and he needed help opening his medication. So I went over there to help him out, and it turned out he was just fine and he didn't need my help. It was weird. He wanted to show me his new car, and he took me on a short drive around the Renda Hills, and then we got back to his little bachelor pad in the house, and he offered me a glass of water, and I drank it, and I started to feel a little bit off. And then I heard a bunch of people coming down the stairs, and it was Sean Combs and a whole bunch of people who just busted in the door and in just a boisterous manner and acting. He said something like, "Bet you didn't think you were ever gonna see me," and I was just in complete shock and frozen.
Now here's the scariest part of all this. Ashley wasn't just some random party guest. She was targeted. Why? Because she had said out loud, maybe just once, maybe in passing, that she believed Diddy had something to do with Tupac's death. That's it. That one opinion, that one dangerous sentence, might have sealed her fate. And if Jaguar Wright is to be believed, and let's be honest, she's been more right than wrong every damn time, then this whole thing was retaliation.
He had Christina Coram. He ordered her to insert a copper IUD into my, but luckily it deployed before she could actually get it inside me, like inside the cervix. And that's when Sean Combs got extremely angry, and he grabbed the TV remote and just me with the remote extremely violently.
Where in the apartment did this happen?
And it was in the house. It has a little studio apartment underneath the house, and it was on the bed because it was a really tiny apartment.
And was everyone in that party present? The people who had all descended down those stairs into that studio apartment, were they all present witnessing what was happening to you?
I heard more people upstairs that I didn't see. So I'm not incredibly sure how many people were there. In the room with me, it was Sean Combs, Shane Pierce, Shane's friend, who I don't know his name yet, what he called was a bodyguard, who later claimed he was a correctional officer or undercover officer, but he wasn't. And then Christina Coram and another white woman who I don't know her name.
Did you know who these people were, or have you come to learn who they are because of the alleged that happened?
I learned who they were afterwards, other than Sean Combs.
And so now, if you can, and I'm sorry these questions are so difficult. I'm following along with the affidavit for the most part. Can you tell me what happened after you say Sean Combs allegedly you with the TV remote? What happened after that in that bedroom with all of those people present?
They took turns me, and Sean Combs me, Shane Pierce also me, but and the bodyguard guy, he to me as well while Sean Combs was sitting in a chair filming it and to watching me being.
Sean Combs was while you say the other members of his party were taking turns with you?
Yeah.
And what happened next?
And I looked for my stuff, my shoes, my clothes, my purse, my keys, and my phone, and none of it was there. And I found a random large black t-shirt. So I put that on, and I the knife that Sean Combs had put against my face earlier, where he wanted to cut my face, and Christina Coram told him that it wouldn't be good for human trafficking to me, that clients wouldn't like it. I found that knife because they had left it in there. So I tried to hide it on my left side underneath partially of the t-shirt. And I stepped outside, and that's right where the bodyguard with a gun was, and they told me to sit down. So I sat down on this makeshift bench out of buckets and a plywood, and I just had to sit there and just kind of listen to Sean Combs brag about what he did to me, and that he's gotten away with more serious crimes and no one would believe me. And he mentioned Tupac.